All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're unpacking a really cool study that uses AI to basically read our minds through our online travel reviews. And it turns out the things we write after a trip, they reveal way more about us than you'd ever guess. I mean, really think about it. That quick review you left on Google Maps for a cathedral or a park. What if it's more than just a review? What if it's a perfect digital fingerprint of who you are as a traveler? That's exactly the question this research tackles. So, what did they find? Well, this is where it gets super interesting. The researchers zeroed in on thousands of reviews for just one famous religious site, the Golden Temple in Amritsar. And by digging into the language people used, they found something amazing. It turns out tourists, they're not all the same, not by a long shot. They actually fall into three completely distinct, kind of hidden profiles. Okay, so first up, you've got the heritage explorer. This is your history buff, right? The person who's totally fascinated by the story of a place. They're all about the historical details, the cultural significance, the architecture, the cold hard facts. Next, we have the aesthete. For this traveler, it's not about the facts, it's all about the vibe. It's a total sensory experience. They're the ones moved by the sheer beauty, the art, the design, the whole atmosphere of a place. And last but not least, there's the self-transcendent seeker. Now, this person is on a whole other level. They're not just there to see something, they're there to feel something. They're searching for a deeper spiritual connection, that sense of peace or a moment of personal growth. So, okay, heritage explorer, aesthete, self-transcendent seeker. But how on earth could they figure all that out just from reading a bunch of reviews? And that's the million-dollar question, right? It all comes down to the really clever methodology they used. But before we get into the how, we kind of need to understand the why. See, this research wasn't just for fun. For years, the tourism industry has been trying to figure out what travelers really want. And honestly, the old ways of doing that are just not cutting it anymore. I mean, look at the difference. The old method was basically surveys, right? But surveys can be biased. The questions themselves can push you towards an answer. You never really get the whole story. But online reviews? Whoa. That's a completely different beast. It's a goldmine of raw, unfiltered, authentic feedback. People are just sharing their thoughts, creating this giant, real-time library of human experience. All right, so they had their goldmine of data from Google Maps. Now, for the next step in their methodology, they needed the right tools for the job. Think of it like they assembled a high-tech detective kit to decode all that human language. The first tool in their kit is a fancy thing called Latent Semantic Analysis, or LSA. But don't let the name scare you. Just think of it as a super smart AI that can read between the lines. It doesn't just see keywords, it understands concepts. So it knows that words like beautiful, stunning, and gorgeous are all talking about the same idea. So once LSA figures out the hidden themes in all the reviews, the next tool, hierarchical clustering, jumps in. This is the organizer. It takes all those reviews and starts grouping them together based on those themes it found. It's kind of like a detective sorting clues into different piles, putting all the reviews that have the same semantic DNA into one bucket. And it's really important to note, they weren't just grabbing any old review. No way. Their methodology was super strict. They followed this 4-step process to make sure they were only looking at the good stuff. They filtered for relevance, focused on recent, high-rated reviews, and ended up handpicking 250 of the most in-depth, insightful comments about the Golden Temple. Quality over quantity for sure. Okay, so now for the payoff. This is where we get to the actual results. After they ran those 250 hand-picked reviews through their AI toolkit, well, that's when those hidden patterns really started to pop. And bam, the AI sorted the reviews perfectly into our 3 groups. The numbers themselves tell a story. The smallest group by a long shot, just 21 reviews, was our fact-loving heritage explorers. Then you had 98 reviews from the aesthetics, the ones focused on beauty. But the biggest group, the clear winner with 131 reviews, was the self-transcendent seeker. So let's break these down. We'll start with that smallest group, the heritage explorer. Their reviews basically read like a mini history lesson. They're almost acting like tour guides, sharing all the facts and figures about the place. Just listen to this example from the study. It's all about information, right? Describing the marble, the gold leaf, the holy book. It's not about how they felt. It's about what the place is. Super informative and precise. All right, now let's talk about the second group, the aesthete. Their focus was completely different. These folks were there to just soak it all in, the beauty, the art, the whole visual experience. And their reviews are packed with sensory language. I mean, check out this sample review. It's all about the golden gleam, the breathtaking sunrise, the intricate carvings. It's a feast for the eyes. See? It's all about how the place looked and the powerful feeling that beauty gave them. And that brings us to our largest group, the self-transcendent seeker. For them, it was a deeply personal journey. Their reviews focused almost entirely on the spiritual and emotional impact the visit had on them. They were definitely looking for more than just a pretty building. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The words they use, peace, serenity, divine connection, spiritually uplifted. It's crystal clear they weren't just observing a place, they were having a profound internal experience. It was about personal connection and meaning. Now, this is absolutely crucial. You might be thinking, okay, but is this just like their opinion, man? Nope. The researchers validated their findings. They basically built another AI model to test their own work, and it was shockingly accurate. It could predict who was a heritage explorer with over 94% accuracy. This is the proof that these groups are real, measurable segments, not just a fluke. So, this brings us to the big so what question. This is the discussion and conclusion part of the study. Because this is way more than just a cool academic exercise. These findings have massive, real-world implications, not just for the tourism industry, but for all of us. For anyone in tourism, this is a potential game changer. Seriously, think about it. You can stop using one-size-fits-all marketing. You can create very specific historical tours for the explorers. You can run ad campaigns dripping with beautiful imagery for the esthetes. You can truly give each visitor what they're looking for, because now you know what that is. And that really brings it full circle, right back to you and me. What this research ultimately shows is that our words matter. They have patterns and they have power. So, the next time you go to write a review, just for a second, think about it. What story are you telling? Are you the historian, the artist, or the seeker? What kind of tourist are your words about to reveal?